Melissa from the blog hymnsandhome.com, and today I'm going to show you how to reupholster a dining room chair. If you've ever thought about reupholstering your dining chairs or a similar chair, but you've been intimidated by the concept, I'm here to tell you that it's pretty straightforward. We're going to start with the very basics, and I'm going to walk you through from the very beginning to the very end of the process. We'll cover everything from the supplies you need to how to choose the right upholstery fabric to how to actually attach the fabric to your chair. I'm actually going to demonstrate on two different chairs today. One is a more modern dining chair, and the other one is a very old vintage dining chair. So the first chair I am going to show you how to reupholster today is actually the seat from my husband's desk chair. I picked up an old dining chair off the side of the road long before I even met him. I reupholstered it for fun, and then when we got married, it just became his desk chair. It has since gotten really beat up, probably from being shoved into the desk by kids and stuff, and from his pants wearing on it, so it's kind of splitting open, and it's all dirty and discolored, so we're going to reupholster this today. We're also going to reupholster this vintage dining chair, which is actually my desk chair. I bought this at a consignment shop back in college. I actually really love the fabric that came on it. I am really sad that it got a hole in it. I tried to be so careful over the years, but inevitably, you know, where my legs hit, just kind of wore over time. I used to even put a towel on it so I wouldn't be touching the fabric itself, because I believe this is actually the original fabric from the 1920s. Which now I'm kicking myself for having sat directly on this, but we can't go back in time, can we? For this chair, I'm actually going to just cover it over with new fabric without removing the old fabric, because I would like to keep that historical element on the chair. So I will just cover it over with the new fabric, knowing that the vintage 1920s fabric is underneath. First, let's just talk about upholstery fabric. So when it comes to upholstery fabric, there are a lot of different options out there, and it really depends on your individual needs. So you need to consider how often your dining chair gets used, who's going to be sitting on it, you know, is it only going to be used on special occasions by very careful adults, or is it going to be used for every single meal with little kids? When I reupholstered our chairs upstairs in our kitchen, I took into consideration that we have a couple little kids, and that is our only table and chairs, so it gets used for every single meal. Upholstery fabrics come in a lot of different weights, and they all have a rating associated with them. Some are for lighter use and some are for heavier use. So I will show you in this next chart right here. Fun to go to the fabric store and just pick out whatever pattern you like, you really need to take into consideration the durability of your fabric and your household needs. So let me show you a few fabrics here. Like I have this one by Waverly. It's a very lightweight upholstery fabric. This is something I would probably use for special occasion chairs because it's not all that sturdy. It's really pretty, but I could just see some jeans catching this if it were to be used every day. This right here is more of a medium weight fabric that I would probably use for dining chairs that are used somewhat frequently, but definitely still not for everyday use. This last one is actually what I used on our chairs in our kitchen. This stuff is like tough as nails. It's super thick, it's just resistant to pretty much anything. And you can find the link to this below if you're interested. But we have been using this upholstery fabric on our chairs for every single meal with little kids for the last 3 years probably, and it has held up really, really well. So I highly recommend going with a very sturdy upholstery fabric if you have small children or if you're going to be using it every day. Sometimes upholstery fabrics can be more expensive, and that can kind of make us want to just buy normal fabric, but it is definitely worth the investment into a durable upholstery fabric if you want your reupholstery job to hold up in the long run. The last thing you want to consider when you're choosing an upholstery fabric for your chair is the scale of the pattern. So if your chair seat is probably like this big, and you choose a floral pattern where each flower is this big, you're probably only going to get one big old flower on each seat. And that might look strange depending on what you're going for. Definitely consider how much of the pattern you want to show on each seat and try to scale your pattern according to your seat size. So how much upholstery fabric you'll need per seat really just depends on the size of the chair and the thickness of your foam. So what I would recommend doing before purchasing your fabric is to figure out exactly how much you will need. So I would take your seat off of the chair frame, taking the screws out of the bottom. Now I would do this before you take off everything. I'm just showing you now because I didn't think to tell you before. So when you measure around, you want to measure through the fullest part and probably at least to the middle of your frame where you're going to be stapling. Now I'm getting like 24 inches or so. Now you want to leave just a little wiggle room so you're not caught in trouble running out of fabric. So I'm going to take my 24-inch measurement and increase it to more like 25, 26 inches just to be on the safe side. So we're just going to say 25 to 26 inches in either direction on my seat. So upholstery fabric is usually 54 inches wide. Sometimes you can find it in 60 inches or 72 inches. It just depends on the manufacturer. So 1 yard of fabric would be more than sufficient going this direction, and I could reasonably get 2 seats out of a 54-inch fabric. Something to consider though when you're trying to guesstimate how much fabric you need is if there's one particular part of the pattern that you want to make sure ends up on each chair. If there's one like beautiful toile scene that you want to make sure ends up on each chair, you don't want to have it be that one chair gets that beautiful pattern and the next chair just gets like white with like a teeny bit of flowers or something. So you have to take that into consideration as well when you're planning out your yardage.